Okay, we're continuing in Likutey Moharan Tinyana to Daled. V'afal pichen, im haya shofa aleinu chasdo, lo yatzrichim l'kol. We said before that when a person does ishtadlus, when a person tries in this world, does physical acts to work to bring parnasa in to his family or to himself, then it arouses the malacha, the Ma'aseh Bereshis, that the 39 malachas that the world was created with, and that in turn brings shefa down to this world through what we call hisorusta dilatata, through arousal from below. Now we're going to describe another way, that's even better way to bring down parnasa, much easier, that's for sure in some senses. If Hashem's chesed were to shine upon us, we wouldn't need all this. We wouldn't need to work. We wouldn't need to do malachas in order to draw down the shefa of parnasa. Hashem doesn't need us to do hisos latata, to do this arousal from below, which is the parnasa, which is work. Because how did Hashem create the world? If Hashem needed us to do this, then how could Hashem create the world? He created it from nothing. And there was no creation in the world that could have done arousal from below, could have done some type of effort from a lower type of world in order to create to bring the creation about. Hashem did it all by himself. He didn't have any help from anyone. And still Hashem created all these worlds that we have. And everything was through the chesed of Hashem, meaning without any help from below. Meaning it was a total chesed of Hashem to create us, and He didn't have any reason, He wasn't forced to create us through our actions. We didn't do anything to justify our creation. We were created from nothing. And this is, as the pasuk says in Tehillim, that the world was created out of chesed, Hashem's pure kindness, without Hashem reciprocating, without Hashem giving back something that we gave to Him. Afterward, if a person does hishtadlus for parnasa, it's kivyachol Hashem. A person is doing hishtadlus and being the oris elyonim d'lamates malachos, and that the Ma'aseh Bereshis was created with, and that in turn shines down to us in the form of brings parnasa. But Hashem created the world not like that, without any help from below. We didn't do anything to create it. And since Hashem was able to create these worlds, all these worlds, without any help from below, without any arousal from below, only through Hashem's pure kindness, for sure, He can give chiyus, give life, and to continue to sustain the whole world, all the worlds, through His kindness alone, and He doesn't need us to work. He just doesn't need it. We see Hashem created the whole world without having help from us. Hashem so too could sustain the world and sustain us, give us bread and water and food, without having to actually participate in our sustenance through parnasa, or through work. And we would not have to do any type of asik, any type of business, or any type of work. And even things that were absolutely necessary, like bread and water, or doing basic things that a person needs for himself, would be done through other people, and he would not have to deal with them. Though his body would be sustained through outside sources. Like other people, simple example that somebody else would work for him, the goyim in the future, we're going to see others are going to come to sustain us, to try to help Klal Yisrael, so that Klal Yisrael could deal completely and dedicate themselves to Torah mitzvahs. And now we have we also are bothered by parnasa, and we have to stop sometimes what we're doing in order to deal with certain aspects of parnasa, or to work, or whatever it is that we do in order to sustain ourselves. Even if a person is a millionaire and he sits on tons of money, so he still has to sometimes go out to the store and buy himself some food. And even if you can order it by the internet, he still has to go onto the internet and to spend his time ordering it, and then when it comes home, he has to prepare it and other things like that. So even these basic things would not have to really be done completely if, and in the future, it will be done by other people. As it says, others will come and herd and be shepherds for your cattle, for your flock. And goyim for your yikarchem uchormechem. I think chormechem is your vineyards. I don't know, yikarchem, maybe that's the cows. Vata kone Hashem tikro tikareu, and you, meaning the Jews, will be called Kohanei Hashem, the servants, the priests of Hashem, and we won't have to do any work. So now the Rebbe's medayek something very interesting. He says, Kohanei Hashem daika, we will be called priests, and priests, kohanim, we know relate to the sphere, the midah of chesed. There are three basic midas: chesed, din, and rachamim, kindness, harshness, and a combination of the two. And they relate to Yisrael, Kohen, Levi, and Yisrael, the three parts of the Jewish people, which is the Kohanim, the Levim, and Yisrael. So Kohanim relate directly to the Bechina of Chesed, to complete kindness that Hashem has for us. And when in the future, where it says this pasuk in Yeshaya, after Mashiach comes, then we will also, all of the nation of Israel will be called Kohanei Hashem, will be called the priests of Hashem. Hainu shiyu nikram Kohanei Hashem, it will be called Kohanei Hashem, which is referring to the Bechina of Chesed. Why? She'ein tzorchim lasos shum malacha, because it'll be hinting to the fact that we will be getting the Chesed of Hashem directly upon us, and we will not need to do any malacha. The Chesed of Hashem, we said, the Chesed, Hashem created the world through Chesed, and He didn't need us to participate or to help out or to do anything to be justifying or to be deserving of the world, because He created us before we were even in existence, and we weren't deserving at that stage because we weren't anything. So too, all of the Jewish people will be like Kohanei Hashem, will be Kohanim, and we will be sustained by Hashem's Chesed. Hainu shiyu nikram Kohanei Hashem b'chinas Chesed. And we won't need to do any malacha. The world will be established, will be sustained through Hashem's pure kindness, without any participation or deserving in the sense of deserving with regards to action. It's like if you have a business and you have a friend that you like very much. So if you take him into your business and you make him a partner, so he didn't necessarily do anything to become a partner in your business, but he could still make half the profits. So that's pure chesed. But if a person is working, you take a partner and he has to work, so that is that would be like compared to Hisos Latata. In the future, we won't need this Hisos Latata. It says also the world will be created through chesed. That the world was created through chesed. The world was created through Hashem's chesed without any necessity for Him to create us. And we won't need to do any malacha. And the whole world will be sustained through Hashem's chesed. So here's mashma that not just the Jewish people, but also the whole world in general. However, sometimes it happens that a person would like to be holding on the stage now, in our days, and we would like to get from Hashem's chesed without having to work for our food. We would like to sit down and just learn and just do mitzvahs and not have to deal with parnasa, not have to deal with financial problems or other taking care of general basic necessities that a person has to take care of, renting out apartments and where he's going to live, what he's going to eat. Now, sometimes even though he would like to do that and to learn all day and to daven and do mitzvahs, so sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes a person is left with no money and doesn't have Hashem. Just for some reason, it seems that Hashem is not being mashpia His chesed on the person, and the person doesn't have what he needs. So what happens then? And Hashem is not mashpia His chesed upon us. Then we need to do something for hisus latata, for some type of arousal from below that will arouse the 39 malachas, as we said, up above, and from that it'll strengthen and bring down chiyus to the Maisa, to all the Maisa gracious, and to the person, Bez Hashem, for the shefa that he needs. Kanal, as mentioned above. Okay, v'zeh b'chinas l'cha Hashem ha'chesed. And now the Rebbe is going to explain this in a pasuk, that sometimes a person, when Hashem does not give chesed to a person, that he has to deal with some type of, he might have to do some type of isus l'tzat. He might not be able to sit down, or the Rebbe is saying here clearly he's not able to just sit down and do absolutely nothing. Again, what he has to do is a different story. You know, there was once a Litvish Rav who he felt that his hisos of the lasata would be to go out and buy a lottery ticket. Now we're not on that madrega, and maybe it's not as far. I heard are not supposed to buy lottery tickets. It could be it's also for them as far as gambling is concerned. But I'm not asking halacha. I don't know for sure. That's what I heard. And every person, according to his madrega of ruchnius pashtus, he has a different level of ishtadlus that he might have to do of hisus of lasata, of arousal from below. So one person might have to make a phone call. One person might have to, work for might have to put in a week of effort to work. And it doesn't necessarily mean that his parnasa is going to come anyway from that effort and that work that he puts into. It could come from, very often it comes from other places. Now the Rebbe is going to explain this in a pasuk. And this is what it says, that for you Hashem achesed, ki ata tasham lish k'masehu, and you will pay each person according to his actions. Hainu. What does this mean? The Rebbe is explaining. When Hashem holds back the chesed and keeps it for himself, so to speak, and doesn't give it to people, doesn't give it to you, and this is what it means, when the chesed is by you, Hashem, and you're not giving it to us, then you will pay each person according to his deeds. What does that mean? According to the work and effort that you put into this world, or the source, the lasata, the malacha that you do in this world. So too Hashem will pay back. This does not mean to say any way, shape, or form that according to how many hours you work, that's how much money you're going to make. That doesn't necessarily what it means. It's very clearly describing that there is a connection between the work that a person does, and according to that work, that's how his shefa will come back. But it doesn't necessarily mean, it could be that a person will work for 2 minutes and he'll touch the spot exactly where he needs, and Hashem will give him siyata d'shemaya, and he'll do exactly what he needs, and he'll get all the shefa will come back down for him. And it could be a different person could work for day and night, literally 24 hours a day, or let's say 20 hours a day, without stopping for anything, and still Hashem will pay him according to his deeds, and his deeds might not hit the spot. And hitting the spot is not totally, mostly in the physical, necessarily in the physical act. A lot of it is how a person relates to his parnasa in order to draw down shefa. And the Rebbe describes in a different place that bitachon is another kli for shefa parnasa. We're going to see how later in this Torah, actually, we're going to describe how we actually can arouse, how we actually can bring upon ourselves this chesed. So we don't have to do too much. We don't have to work too much. We don't have to put all of our lives and waste all of our days in parnasa. Chas v'shalom. And we specifically have to do something in order to arouse the 39 malachas that we described before, in order to because since the chesed is held back by Hashem, it's not being nishbal, it's not coming down to us. But if the chesed would come down to us, we wouldn't have to do anything. Kanal. And then Hashem would pay us back. Hashem would pay each person kimasehu, his medak, as if he worked. The kim means like as if, not according to. So there's two ways to read this. L'cha Hashem chesed, to you Hashem is a chesed, and the end of the pasuk is and you will pay back each person according to his maisim. Now, when the chesed does come down into this world, so Hashem will pay us according to our maisim, as if not according to our maisim, because we will have no maisim. We won't act for the yisorus of the 39 malachos, but we are going to have to be as if we acted. Because we will not have to do anything at all when the shefa will come down to us, when the shefa of the chesed of Hashem will come down to us.